Perfect living masters come into this world not to teach us new morality. They do not come to teach us the way to live. They do not come to teach us how to reform your political systems. They do not come to teach you how to reform your social systems. They come to show you that you can, while you're trapped in these bodies, while you're trapped in your sensory systems, while you're trapped in your mind, you can still have the experience of who you are. And that experience is generated by first that totality appearing within the show as a perfect living master, as a human being outside of yourself, and then going within yourself stage by stage, darja ba darja, as great master would say, step by step, you discover your own reality. And the ultimate reality you find at all times, there was only one consciousness. The show of the many took place in one alone, and we are participating in the one, that we've never been separated. Our reality is that one. All rest is created, all rest is illusion. This is a great opportunity that is provided to every seeker. Whoever seeks to find the truth can find it. How do you find it? By going within. How do you go within? By discovering a person outside in your life who has gone within. And a person that you discover outside your life who has gone within will take you only as far as he has gone. He can't take you more. And the difficulty is that in this subject of spiritual awareness, every level that we perceive looks like the final level. People get a little glimpse of something and they say this is reality. People have different kind of journeys and they have inner experiences. Some people have experiences by knocking at the doors of different chakras below. Whatever they do, every experience looks to them as if it is the final experience beyond the physical. Therefore, there are limitations. Every teacher, every master of every kind has a limit to what he can teach you, where he can take you. Most of these I have discovered. I just celebrated my 84th birthday and you are coming and saying happy birthday to me. 84 years is a lot of time, in a physical world in one body to research this thing. And my research has shown that 99.9% of the teachers who are today teaching us what is spiritual are teaching us what lies within the mind and created universe outside. They've given us different levels. They give us their inner experiences. They give us journeys into the unknown. But it's all up to the level of time, space, and the mind. The number of perfect living masters who can tell us that the reality of your own self is not divided at all, it lies beyond the mind, is so few. At all times you can count it on the number of fingers on your hands. It's so little. So therefore, it's not possible by doing a research and going into a list of spiritual teachers. You can go on internet and say thousands of teachers are there teaching the same thing. In every country, in fact in India if you go, there are more teachers than students today. And great master used to say, the guruship has grown so much that there are more gurus than chelas. So that is why people are teaching everything, but the teaching is not what the perfect living masters take us to. They do not come here to teach. They come here to take us back home. It's a big distinction between the two. Teaching they follow because others are doing the teaching. They follow a format for their work of taking us back home by following what the format is going on in the universe around. And our mind will not accept other formats. Therefore, they give a long rope to us. They say, go ahead, follow this, follow that also. Is this better for you? Go ahead with that. You are following something else? Go ahead with that also. They do not discourage us. Anything they feel is taking us towards the realization of who we are inside, they encourage. They do not even say, oh, don't first find out a perfect guru and then follow him. They say, follow any guru who tells you, follow any teacher who tells you to go within themselves. Because they know that every one of these people who come into our life and guide us towards our own inner self is taking a step towards their path. But to take us beyond our own mind to our own reality is left to the privilege of the perfect living masters, who themselves operate from beyond the mind and can take us beyond the mind to our own reality. That is why the qualification required to find a perfect living master is a very simple one. It's an earnest desire to seek. If you are a seeker in your heart, in your mind, and you are seeking the truth because you are fed up with the untruth, if you are seeking the reality because the show you have been through is too messy, is too bad, you're done with it, you're fed up with it, if you are in that state and you're seeking, you're bound to find a perfect living master eventually. That's the system. There is no other way to find a perfect living master except through seeking. If you think that you can judge by the qualifications of a human being and find out who is a perfect living master, I tell you, you are a master yourself then. Then you are as good as that perfect living master. If you have such a knowledge that you can say this person is a perfect living master. Because a perfect living master will never say I am a master. He will not even exhibit the qualities of some of these qualified psychics and qualified people who are showing extrasensory perception and doing street miracles. He won't even do that. He doesn't have to. That's not his job. His job is to pick up the seeker and divulge to the seeker who he is and take him back home. So therefore, it is not that we find a master. There is no way we can find a master. I know no way in which a human being with a sharp intellect can ever find a master. He'll keep on analyzing and say, this one has these characteristics, this one doesn't. He's too ordinary to be a master. This one, no, I asked him something, he didn't have the answer, not a master. Your checklist of what our intellect tells us could be a master is so faulty that we cannot see where the love lies, where love and devotion can take us. The mind is incapable of love and devotion. Only the spirit can love. Therefore, when you use the mind exclusively to search for a master, you fail. But a master can find you. The truth is that every person I have met in my life who has been able to get initiated by a perfect living master has been found by the master. By series of coincidences in life, series of steps that have gone into their life, different levels through which they passed, different kind of seekings they had, different kind of disappointments they had, different kind of pain and suffering they had in the physical world, all added up to their being ready. And when they were ready, by coincidence, a person comes along, happens to be the perfect living master, and they enable that seeker very quickly, in spite of the objections of the mind, to find out this was a master. So this is something, it is not based upon intellectual or rational principles. It's based upon the intensity of inner seeking. If you seek intensely, a master will come and pick you up. Of course, the mind will question, mind will doubt, because apart from the function of thinking that the mind has been given, it has also been given the function of putting things together, creating logical sequences, and therefore the mind has to question everything. By questioning everything, it is a great generator of doubts, and therefore it doubts everything. If you give a clear indication to the mind, this is it, there must be catch in it. Let me find out what the catch is. The skepticism is built into the mind, and therefore the mind will create doubts. And what follows from the doubts is fear. Once you have a doubt, you also have fear. So doubt and fear seems to be a subsidiary function of the mind. Not very good for a spiritual seeker, but that's what comes in the way. Even when a seeker, with intense seeking from his soul and his spirit, comes across a person, a human being who happens to be a perfect living master, the mind will create these doubts and create these fears. And to overcome them, it takes time, but the method perfect living masters use is first go along with you. To satisfy your mind, put it aside. Okay, what are your questions? Here are the answers. Okay, you got some answers? Okay, any more questions? Yeah, I have more. Okay, gradually say, what questions am I asking? What is the relevance of these questions? My seeking is deeper than these questions. What am I trying to satisfy myself for? Then comes the path that you get trapped. Then you have no questions. Then you only feel, this guy has some kind of a love which I haven't experienced before. The difference in the love that a master can give us is that it is unconditional. It is not based upon our reciprocity. It is not based upon what we do. A master, if he is a perfect living master, will allow us to experience love which is unconditional. You don't experience because you love the master. You may hate the master. If you're on his list, you will experience unconditional love from that master. You can do whatever you like, you still experience unconditional love from a master. That distinguishes that human being from all other human beings. And therefore, gradually, you come to realize this is a different connection we have. This is something different happening to us. And that's when the revelation comes. And then following the instructions, a master gives merely to satisfy our mind and to satisfy the sensory and bodily functions of us. He says, do meditation, follow these disciplines, follow this. Mind says, that looks very sensible. You must get something by doing these things. And if we follow that, eventually we discover that none of them was necessary except the love and devotion and connection with the master through that affection that he was giving us. The mind would not accept it. So the master takes us through a series of steps which ultimately lead to a faith built upon the love we are experiencing. The faith is not built upon the other experiences we are having. The show of creation in the physical world has to be kept in working order, and one law alone has been able to achieve that. Orderliness of this show has been achieved by one law, and that's called the law of karma. It's a wonderful law. The law of karma states very simply, whatever you do willfully with your intention, you must reap the consequences. Do good, you get a reward. Do bad, you are punished. Do good and bad, you are rewarded and punished. It's not that one cancels the other. You never cancel anything. This law is so beautiful. This law completely perpetuates the creation. It makes the creation permanent because you can do whatever you like and you come up for the consequence of it. So you stay here. No way to escape. There could be never a bigger prison house, a better designed trap than the law of karma. And one law has been used to perpetuate and create this universe in this form that whatever you do, you're trapped here. You can't get out. The law of karma is such relentless. It has made this universe perpetual. It has made this creation perpetual. This creation is as permanent as the creator now. And when you dissolve this creation, you set the seeds for a new creation on the same law. So this law of karma binds us here. It's a mental law. It's a law that the mind recognizes. You do good, you are rewarded. You do bad, you are punished. And the punishment will be according to how bad you are. And what makes good and bad? Your mind makes it what is good or bad. Like Shakespeare says, there's nothing either good or bad. Your mind makes it good or bad. Our own conscience, which is an aspect of the mind. The mind's aspect called conscience says this is good, this is bad. We trap ourselves with that. There is no way to get out of all this. And nobody can tell us how to get out of this except one who is operating outside this whole system. And what is outside the system? Our soul, our consciousness. But we are trapped because we identify ourselves with the mind, we identify ourselves with the senses, we identify ourselves with the body, and we are trapped here. The perfect living masters, while they are talking to us as human beings, they are in touch with their consciousness beyond the mind. They are in touch with the reality while they are talking to us as human beings. Therefore, there's a very big difference in an association with such people. When you associate with them, the very presence of somebody who at the very time that we are with them is talking with knowledge of total consciousness in which you and that person both are included. When you see a perfect living master in a human body, you are not seeing a person, you are seeing your own self and that person together. But you can't see that. You are seeing only the outside. But the perfect living master is seeing both.